What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Esther Effect. This is Tyler. He's gonna be sharing his story. Hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you in a little bit.
I didn't grow up in a Christian home. My parents partied a lot when I was a kid. I started going to church a little bit in my early teenage years, but I never had a relationship with Jesus. I went as more of a social thing. As I went into high school, I started to look towards, the people that like to party for friends and acceptance. That just continued more and more as high school went on. By the end of high school, I was doing a lot of drugs and alcohol and that sort of thing. After high school, I went to the military, and by that point, I had completely given up on any type of religion or having a relationship with God or anything like that. I got in a lot of trouble when I was in the military for drinking and drugs and different things, and ended up going home early from that. Right after getting home from the military, I walked into an after hours club in Dallas and bought ecstasy from this guy. That guy ended up making a huge impact on my life, but I'll come back to that later. He got in trouble and kind of went his own separate way, and I continued partying, continued in the nightlife scene, got deeper and deeper into it, and started selling drugs. Became addicted to the money and the lifestyle of it more than anything. I didn't see any need for religion or for God because I thought I had everything that I need. As time went on, it got harder and harder, and I started to realize that that was not what I wanted for my life. Towards the end, a lot of bad things started happening. I wrecked my car and got a DWI. Someone broke into my house and stole like $5,000 cash from me and a bunch of drugs. And then the next week I was in Austin buying a whole lot of drugs to sell, and my roommate called me while I was there and said that someone died of a drug overdose in our house. So all of this is kind of happening at once, and it was at that point in my life that God started to call out to me, and I thought that I knew that there was something more for my life, but I didn't know what that looked like. I didn't know how to make that step. It was right around that time that I ran back into the guy that I met the first time I ever went to a rave. His name's Jonathan Clark. You'll see him in another video, it's my boy. We ran into each other and he invited me to church. I reluctantly accepted his invitation. The next Tuesday night, he called me and said he is on his way to my house and I'm going to church. So I was like, all right, cool, I guess I'm going to church. I went. It was just that overwhelming sense of peace when I walked into that place. And I knew that this was what all of the things in my life had kind of led up to. I just knew what I had to do, so I accepted Jesus that night. That's where my walk with the Lord began, was at High Ridge Church that night. A couple weeks later, I was sitting in the service with Jonathan, and the preacher asked if anybody would want to go on a mission trip to Nicaragua. Of course, I wanted to go to a country that I'd never been to before. I had never been out of the US. I asked them if I could take that spot, and Jonathan was already going on that trip. A whole bunch of other people asked to go and take that spot because there was no fundraising that was needed. They just wanted somebody to fill the spot. But the people from the church prayed about it, and they decided to let me have the spot and go on the mission trip to Nicaragua. And on that trip is, it's when it went from like a mental decision of I'm gonna follow Jesus to like my whole heart really wanting everything that he had for me. I met my mentor on that trip, who's been a huge impact in my life. I found out about the world race on that trip, which is a mission trip to 11 countries in 11 months. I didn't think that I would be able to raise the money for that kind of trip, and I didn't think that something like that was possible for me. I got a definitive yes from God, and he told me to go do it. I signed up and I got accepted, and I started raising money for the world race. It wasn't that long after that that my buddy Jonathan got a yes from the Lord from the world race too. I was sitting there watching my acceptance video, and the Holy Spirit just hit him, told him to go on the world race too. $16,000 a piece later, we were both on a mission trip to 11 countries in 11 months, starting off in Asia. That trip taught me a lot of things about myself, taught me a lot about the Lord and community and what it looks like to choose people even when you don't want to. I failed at that a lot. Even on that trip, like after I had said yes to the Lord, I did not live up to all that he wanted for me. But it was through those missteps and places where I did not necessarily do well on the trip that I learned the most. There are a lot of places that the Lord still wanted to work on in me. It just kind of opened me up to a whole nother level of obedience, saying yes to Him. The places that we got to saw and the people that we got to meet were amazing, but the biggest thing for me was just the relationship and like the deepening of personal relationship with the Lord. Coming home from that, me and Jonathan knew that there was something more that we wanted to do. We didn't know what it was yet, but there was inspiration. There was like different things that we had seen, and we just knew that whatever it was, we wanted it to be from Him. Long story short, we wanted to start a business as missions organization using aquaponics, working with homeless people, homeless youth, bring kingdom through food production. We started to try to get the ball rolling on what we wanted to do here in Fort Worth, Texas, but the doors were not opening up, and it just seemed like it was not the step that God wanted us to take yet. We knew that we had the inspiration, and we knew what God wanted us to do, but doing it in Fort Worth right at that moment was not what He had for us. We got an opportunity to go to Indianapolis and work with an organization there, 91 Place. They work with homeless youth in the inner city. We get to go there with some awesome brothers and sisters in Christ, help with this amazing organization, bring kingdom in that place. I'm really excited for the opportunity to live in deep community with those people, and no matter what happens after that, I'm free and I'm walking with Him every day. He has a better plan for me than I could ever imagine. We'll leave the information down below where you can check us out, and you can stay updated with our story in Indianapolis and into the future. It's gonna be awesome. Love you guys.
Thank you guys so much for watching. That was Tyler. Thank you, Tyler, so much for sharing with us. You guys should definitely, what Tyler said, look down below in the description box, and we'll be able to put all the different links so you can follow their story. If you maybe want to donate, get involved, or see what they're up to with hydroponics, that'd be amazing. Like, the Lord is doing so much with that. He's going to continue to move. So if that interests you, definitely take a look at that. Check him out.
You can follow me on Instagram, Tyler O Photos. Yeah, check my pictures out.
Really, really hope that this encourages you guys. Love you guys so much. I'm always praying for you. Until next time.